Well, let's go ahead and jump right in, gentlemen. I know y'all are busy. We've got a lot of people that are on with us live today, and then we've got others that are expectantly awaiting this recording. And so we'll be sure to get this out for those of you that want to use this. But my name is Cami Pentecost, and I am so excited and proud to announce that I'm a part of the eXp family. I'm a real estate agent, and never in my life did I think I'd be sitting here today sharing this particular story with you. As a matter of fact, all I ever wanted for my life was to be a teacher and a coach. That's what I thought God had intended for me. I thought I was going to be teaching school and coaching basketball for 30 years, get what I needed to get my retirement. And I just feel like I was put on this earth to teach and coach. But about 20 years ago, I realized that God had different plans. And while I thought it might be in a traditional classroom, God had plans for me to be teaching and coaching on a different platform. And then about a little less than 20 years later, I'm starting over, and I'm excited to get into what that looks like and why I'm doing that today. But before we get into that, I want to introduce who I have the privilege of interviewing today and having this conversation with. And I'll start with Ryan. Ryan Ogle is a longtime friend of mine. Small world, we graduated together. I think our siblings graduated together and went to college together. And then Ryan became my real estate investor. He was the person I would call to pick his brain about real estate. And I moved to Florida just about exactly 5 years ago. And Ryan was somebody I spoke with during COVID, just what was happening here in the real estate world. And how people were flooding to Florida. And so when God, put me through a series of transitions in my life, I would say I reached out to Ryan to pick his brain on a couple of things. So we'll get into that in a minute. We also have Justin Ford on here today. I have the privilege of meeting Justin Ford through Ryan Ogle. I would say both of them are younger than me, just so y'all know, but they both feel like the big brothers I've never had. And I think, Justin, the minute I knew that this was where I was supposed to be is when I called you about a couple of things that I was just struggling on some decision making with as I was transitioning here. And I asked you what your experience was. And the first thing that came out of your mouth, I'm going to cry saying it. It was so gentle and it was just so sweet. It was, have you prayed about it? And I was so grateful that God had given me a mentor that was his first response, because that's so aligned with my heart. And no, I hadn't prayed too much about it. And so it was such a great nudge to do what I needed to do first and foremost. So let's go ahead and jump right in, because while I adore you guys on a personal level, you all have a track record in the real estate world that is unparalleled. And I put it in the image for this call, but Ryan, I mean, you moved an entire brokerage. You have over 22 years of massive experience in real estate. And you've been on boards, you have been a speaker and a trainer in the real estate world for quite some time, and you moved your entire brokerage into eXp. Justin, I don't know the countless number of things you've done and the people you train for, but this is the thing that I just can't stop shouting and bragging about is you sold 100 homes, more than 100 homes in your first year in the business. And I think, it's like the person that ran the 3-minute mile. Once you see that it can be done, you can do it too. And I think we are so lucky to have both of you guys to learn from. But Ryan, I'm going to start with you, because when I was looking at going into real estate, I was praying somehow I could find a way to get connected to eXp, but you were my guy. And so I called you, and lo and behold, what did you say when I called you?
I said, I'll talk to you about Blue House Properties, my company, but you should know that I just joined it with eXp.
I was like, wait, what? I'm literally making the call to him, you guys. I knew at this point I was going into real estate, and I knew I wanted to go into eXp, but I did not know what that would look like. And I knew Ryan was my guy. So God is so good. So Ryan, let's start there a little bit. And by the way, did I miss anything? Because you are a very accomplished realtor, and I never want to not give you credit.
No, I just wake up and work hard.
So Ryan, why? Why did you join eXp? I mean, you've always been supportive of me being in direct sales for the last 15, 20 years. But your MO is real estate. And so
Yeah.
why EXP and why now?
Yeah, I mean, I can answer that after being there a year and a half, right? Like with one set of reasons, and then I could go back and say maybe why I went without knowing what I know now. But it's a good brokerage, one. Two, maybe similar to your story, it was a bit of God's timing and God's plan, I guess, because I was a never eXp and I was a never real estate brokerage franchise. I'm fiercely proud and loyal to my little independent boutique brokerage, and I was never going to join it with anything else. But our plans and our desires aren't always what's best, right? So, and then even the little bit I knew about eXp, I realized just wasn't maybe what it really was, because I had heard about it. Some people had talked to me about it. And I really didn't have any interest, but God brought Justin Ford into my life. We became friends. And so the main thing was I was going to get my license in Florida, and I was going to go to a Keller Williams in Florida because my friend owned it. And in doing that, I realized I'm Ryan Ogle in Florida with a set of fees and cap at KW. And then I'm Ryan Ogle in Michigan with a set of fees and a cap. It's still me, but it's two Ryan Ogles, two different realtors, two different states, two sets of expenses. And I casually mentioned that, and Justin goes, "Oh, hey, I'm licensed in Florida. At eXp, it's one cap. They don't care how many states you're in where you make your money. It's just one cap, one set of fees." So that was enough. And I said, "Man, that's interesting. That's like a $25,000 a year savings. I should look into this." So I looked into it, but I had a bad attitude and thought, I know enough about it. It's a joke and this and that. And there's nobody good who works there besides my buddy, Justin. And so Justin was obedient to staying after me. And I went to an event and I went down there to prove myself right, that there's a bunch of crappy people who work at the company. And I was just going to go because Justin asked me to. And lo and behold, I met amazing people and realtors who sell way more than I do, and some good, even just moral character people, some good Christian. I had incredible conversations. I was like, oh my gosh, there's actually like really good people here. So I had to look into it a bit more. And in doing that, I realized it had some specific solutions for me, moving my brokerage and running my brokerage, like the next evolution of Blue House Properties. And because of that, what ended up happening is I'm still Blue House Properties. We're brokered by eXp now. And so I'm still running my brand and my team, but I get to utilize eXp's platform and network for multiple different benefits. So, I just referrals in different countries, but I get to use their back-end support, their education, their website, their technology, all things that would have cost me a lot of money to try to implement at my own small brokerage. And the fact that I could keep my branding, I have a Blue House code on right now, like it just made sense. And then, looking back now, right where I'm at, I still pretty much run Blue House, but I don't have the expenses. I'm not writing the paychecks for my agents. I'm not doing the back end accounting. I'm not the broker. I'm not liable for my agents messing up, right? So I got liability freedom. So eXp had some specific solutions for me that attracted me to looking into it. But even then, I had to vet that it was still a good company and good people there, and I did. So that's why I went. I'd give a different answer saying, now after being there a year and a half, what do I like about it? I learned so much more and so many more benefits that I've just fell in love with. So
I love it. I love it. I was taking notes because I'm like, if he doesn't say this, I want to talk to him about this. If he doesn't say that. So Justin, to hear him say, some of the things that he said, knowing you were the guy that was just constantly kind of knocking on the door going, hey, still thinking about you, still want you to take a look at this. How on earth were you introduced to eXp?
Well, first off, before I get into that, I'll just kind of, circle back to what Ryan said. And so I remember when I first went to eXp, I reached out to Ryan with some enthusiasm in my voice, and it wasn't even about eXp, but the very first thing he said is, I'm not joining eXp. And then I always say I actually had to court Ryan longer than I did my wife for him to come over to eXp. But, for me, I got into real estate back in 2013. I was so I'm 40. So my whole adult career, I've been in this industry. So for the last 18 years, I was introduced to this industry through the mortgage business back in 2005 and was doing mortgages. And then the market crashed back in 2008. And after being on commission sales and making six figures, the first time in my life, I'm like, I'm not going back to work in a regular job. So I looked at how I could continue to stay in the industry. I helped people with short sales and loan modifications during the mortgage crash. And I did a couple of other things within the industry. Well, back in 2013, as the market was starting to pick up, I said, I need to get into real estate because, I know so many people and I was always referring business to other real estate agents. And I'm like, well, I need to put this money in my pocket rather than referring it to someone else. And there's a guy here locally named Jeff Glover, and he's on all the billboards and TV commercials and radio. And he's always been known as the top agent or team here in the area. And so me and my wife prayed about it and we ended up joining his team. And I always said, in order to be the best, you got to learn from the best. And my whole experience about real estate was total, or my understanding or what I thought real estate was not what he was offering. When I went to meet with him for an interview, he said, hey, everybody that joins our team has to, make phone calls 8 to 10 hours a day for 6 days a week for 90 days before you can ever meet with a client, before you can ever go on an appointment and all this. And I said, so what I hear you saying is you're hiring me to be a telemarketer, something I did not want to be because I was years previous. And, Jeff said, if you'll trust me and you'll follow this process, you'll be very successful in real estate. So I ended up trusting him. God said, you know what, go ahead and join the company. And I learned for 90 days how to pick up the phone and prospect and call sellers and call, listings, and, took 30 listings my first month in the business, 33 my second month, 100 listings my first 6 months, and went on to sell 100 homes my first year. And, I realized the power of this vehicle we call real estate. And so I was with Jeff for 3 years and was his top salesperson. I became his inside sales manager. So I trained all of his agents how to pick up the phone and make calls. And then after 3 years, I got the itch to go start my own company. And so I actually left Keller Williams because Jeff was a Keller Williams team. And I started my own brokerage with a vision to change the real estate industry. And so back in 2016, I've always understood the power of passive income, revenue share, leverage and earning income off of other people through networking. And so I partnered with a guy who came from the network marketing business. He used to be one of the top, him and his wife used to be one of the top people at a company called Leah Sophia. They were making over $2 million a year. And Leah Sophia closed because they ended up taking their product and selling it online. So it removed the networking base, and he was looking to get back into something. So we created a 7-tier compensation model that, that we were excited about. We had never heard of eXp. And then a buddy of mine who left Keller Williams kind of the same time I was, and he was in another state. He said, hey man, you need to check out this company. And I didn't really even pay attention because I was starting my own, but it was called eXp. And then as we were out sharing our model, there was an agent in California who said, oh my gosh, this sounds exactly like eXp. I'm like, what the heck is this eXp thing? So when I finally kind of heard about it and I had an understanding of it, never really looked too deep into it, I realized it was our competition. And so then everybody and their mama, like Ryan said, started trying to recruit me to eXp and telling me about eXp. I wanted nothing to do with eXp. I was a never eXp guy. And as my buddy, AJ Maida, who brought me into eXp, after a year and a half, retired, bought a motorhome and started traveling the country, and his income continued to go up. My frustration continued to go up because I didn't realize, starting your own brokerage, hiring people, carrying the overhead, carrying the liability and the responsibility, I wasn't making any money because all the money I was making through my brokerage was going back into the brokerage, and I went from selling 100 homes to 50 homes a year, which was a big, pay decrease or a decrease in my pay. And so after about 4 years of doing that, after COVID, I had my best year in real estate back in COVID. I sold 125 homes and did 31 million in personal volume, but I was lonely because I had stopped bringing people into my company because I wanted to be a part of something. I just didn't know what it looked like. And so at the end of 2020, I reached back out to AJ and I said, hey man, I really want to take a look at what eXp has to offer. And once I saw it, I realized that eXp was the model that I was trying to create and had already established it not only in all 50 states, but around the world. And I didn't have to be the broker of it. I didn't have to carry the liability of it. And I could just plug into it, still have the same vision, but not have to build and grow it. And when I saw it and I joined, the rest was history. And here I am 2.5 years later.
Gosh, that's powerful for a couple reasons. I just want to, when I called Ryan for the first time, listen, I've been in direct sales for almost 20 years. So you get on the phone call with people and they start talking about compensation plan. They start talking about time freedom. They start talking about working from anywhere and setting your own schedule. But Ryan said something right out of the gate that didn't, necessarily resonate, or something I heard all the time, which I realized was unique for the real estate industry. He talked about liability freedom. And I didn't know that that was a thing. But what I can tell you is, as God started turning my heart to something different, knowing that I was going to be going in a different direction from where I had been, a mentor of mine said, honey, you need to do real estate. And in 2 years, once you've paid your dues, you need to start a brokerage. And immediately I went, wait a minute, there's something out there that allows us to skip that step and start building a team right from ground zero. And that was what I was really passionate about right out of the gate. Not because I'm not passionate about real estate, but because I am. Y'all, let me just tell you something. When I found out that the world of real estate, one of the best products I believe in the world, and quite frankly, nothing can compete with Amazon right now, and everything is a competition with Amazon, but not real estate. And when you take real estate and you put it with the world of direct sales, which is a willable, sellable, generational wealth creation model, like, I can't even begin to tell you the feelings that went through me that I thought I could do both together. And starting over wasn't something that I was anticipating at the age of 43, but it was something that once I realized this unique set of skills that I had built over the last almost 20 years could now meet this incredible industry of real estate, that's when my attention was fully on what eXp had to offer. And then Ryan, I'll just say again, and Justin, this is for you as well. I've had a couple people reach out to me and say, you mean you didn't sign up with this person and you didn't sign up with this person? I said, no, I signed up with two of the most integrity, fighting on a daily basis to keep their marriages, first, and to teach others how to do the same, and to honor their family, and to put Christ first in their relationship. That's a team I want to be aligned with. And then I knew what we've done from a professional standpoint in knowing how to generate leads, which is always a it's a formula that people are looking how to find the answer for, right? But also just the importance of this model. And so one of the things I've gotten over and over, and I'll just put this out there, I'll let either one of you, is, oh, eXp is just about agent attraction. It's, what about the purity of selling real estate? And for me, I'm thinking, I don't need to overcome that. I'm like, I want both. I want both an amazing product, service, and I want the ability to leverage my time and my efforts with an amazing team building structure. But there's a lot of people out there that have never had experience with direct sales. So can either of you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, I'll speak to that. So because there is this agent attraction piece to eXp, that's what a lot of people hear about. And, fortunately, unfortunately, a lot of eXp agents, that's all they talk about. If you guys heard me when I answered you why eXp, it's a good brokerage. Like, the agent attraction thing is a choice. That's an optional service that you can participate in and earn revenue if you want. But that's like my fourth or fifth, positive thing about eXp. That's not my first. I just think it's actually a really good brokerage to sell real estate at. And so the agent attraction part is kind of down the line, and you don't have to participate in that, right? And I think that's where people get caught up, like, well, I don't really want to try to attract agents or do that. And you don't have to. I think actually maybe only like 5% of the company works on that. But in some aspects, every realtor is asked to recruit agents. Every brokerage always tells realtors, like, hey, you got any friends or other realtors you can have come over here? They just don't pay you to do it. So if you wanted to do it, here's an actual model with a really good comp plan to earn some money if you want to. But even if you didn't want to, we close deals throughout the year. You're a good co-broker. You meet an agent at a closing, you had a great deal with them, and they asked you about eXp, like maybe you bring one on, great. You know, maybe next year you bring one on. Like, if I think naturally just at any brokerage, you might introduce some realtors to your firm. And if you're at eXp and you did that over a 10-year period, you can earn a little bit extra money. So that's my take on it, because I think it's just been kind of mislabeled as this like multi-level marketing, recruiting. And, you know, I say this all the time, no offense to anyone in the MLM world, but we're not selling vitamins. We're not selling protein shakes. Like, I'm not selling anything. I'm introducing this company to agents who want a good brokerage with healthcare and with stock and with all these really good websites, good CRM. So that's why I like it. And that's where I don't think it's really like direct sales. It's just, they have that component if you want to earn some money. And it's genius. So many real estate companies have spent so much money on trying to grow their brokerage and hire agents and advertise for them and have offices. And eXp said, we're not going to have offices. So we're going to save a ton of money, brick and mortar. And we're not going to spend a dime on growing this place, but we'll pay you guys if you want to grow the place. So there you go. That's my kind of short answer on it. But
well, and clearly I'm blowing up the chat as we're talking, because I mean, those are just things that I wouldn't know because I'm new to real estate. But in my mind, y'all, if you have, if there's 4 ways to earn and we want to add a 5th one, why wouldn't you want it? Why wouldn't you want to implement that and make more on what you're already doing? And that's where I think, listen, I'm from Grand Rapids, Michigan, home of Amway, where there was a lot of bridges and bad taste in people's mouth from the multi-level marketing world. And I'm telling you, I was a school teacher making $28,000 a year. And when I started making more in 1 month than I made in 3 years teaching, you had my attention. It was simply because I was helping other people use a product that they loved. The difference with real estate is it's not a want, it is a, people have to have a place to live. And a lot of people.
let me state.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go right ahead.
Let me say this too. Like, just like I introduced you to the eXp, Cami, if you don't sell real estate, I don't make anything. So like, it's not like, oh, I just got to get a bunch of warm bodies with a real estate license. No, I want good agents who sell houses and sell a lot of houses, because if you cap, I do earn a couple $1,000s. So I state that just because that's another thing that people don't realize is, if you were to work on agent attraction at all, it only works if people sell houses. And, you know, in speaking and being part of, you know, NAR, National Association of Realtors, and other things I've been on, I know agents all over the country, and I will send deals out for referrals, and they'll also send referrals to me in Michigan. And when I send a deal out to, you know, a friend's moving to Arizona, when that deal closes, that agent sends me a referral check. That's common practice in real estate. I get a ton of business from that. It's actually a piece of real estate that a lot of agents overlook, but the agent attraction model, the revenue share model at eXp is, now I have agents in different states and all over, and every time they close a deal, I get a little check. That's all it is. I mean, I'm not selling them anything. I'm not in charge of them. They don't work for me. I don't have to do anything with them if I don't want to. I just introduced them to the brokerage. And I was like, man, here I am spending 50 grand a month to run a huge real estate team for, you know, 12 to 15 agents locally. And yeah, maybe I make 250 grand in commissions off them, but I'm probably spending like 300 to run the whole thing. So it's a loss. And I want to expand. I want to open a second Blue House in Chicago and one, you know, it's be so expensive to do that. Now I can have agents in like every state, and when they close a deal, I get a little check. Like, why not? Who wouldn't want to do that, I guess? And that's me though. When I went to eXp, I didn't want to do that. I didn't go there for that, but then just naturally I thought, well, shoot, I have a good friend who's an agent in Arizona. I should introduce them to the company. If they close a deal, I can make a little bit. Heck yeah, why not? And, you know, one of the biggest things that kind of struck me, and I knew this, but I had never heard it said, that first conference I went to with Justin, someone said, you know, real estate is hard. And one of the hardest parts is on January 1st, you wake up and you start at 0 and you have to do it all over again. And that just hit me, because we aren't in a business where we have pre-orders or pre-sales, or we're not manufacturing widgets. So we don't wake up on January 1st and know we have a bunch of deals coming. We have to go do them again. And real estate's hard. It's hard to sell 50 houses. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of time, nights and weekends. Some deals go through, some deals fall through. Right. And so that just hit me. I was like, that's why I'm always bummed out around the first of the year, because I got to do this all over again. Now, love the job, love the career, and have done it long enough that I'm very blessed, and I know I'll get deals, but I got to go do them. And it's like, man, what if you could wake up on January 1st and it was a little bit easier, right? What if you had an affordable healthcare plan? What if you could earn a little bit of stock just from doing your business and start to build a retirement? Oh, you introduce a couple agents to the company, so now you have $5,000 you make extra a year from them. So now, like this year, I woke up on January 1st and I wasn't starting at zero. I actually was starting at like positive 60 grand, and I could break that down another time, but that means I could maybe go out and sell 30 houses instead of 40 and get a little bit easier, way of life and some time back.
Yeah, absolutely. Justin, I was just thinking, as I hear people say eXp, isn't that just about agent attraction? I love what Ryan said about how clearly if there's not selling real estate, there's no product to get paid on. But that's why I love your story. You were selling 100 homes in your first year in the industry, and clearly you care about real estate, but
Yep.
you've got a model that takes that to the next level. Anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, absolutely. And to piggyback off of what Ryan said, for a long time, and I think this is changing. Actually, I know it is. For a long time, eXp was known as, I don't want to go to eXp because I don't want to recruit. Because early on, everybody was recruiting, to eXp. And so people were getting turned off. And then it became, well, hey, people don't really sell real estate over at eXp. Well, this year and even last year, eXp is ranked number one in a lot of different categories for, homes sold, volume, all sorts. I mean, all you have to do is just look up eXp in the different categories in real trends that matter. I mean, they have exploded in every category. And less than 10% of the 90-ish, like we're right around 90,000 agents globally. Less than 10% actually even build a team. And so I always say, for those that are interested in eXp, come for the stock, come for the systems, come for the collaboration, come for whatever. And what's going to happen naturally is you're going to love the company so much that you're going to want your friends and other agents that you love in the industry to come join you. And I love RevShare. I've always been like a network marketing guy. I've always been a recruiting guy because I understand the power of leverage. But like Ryan said, that wasn't even the number one reason. It might have been one of the reasons that definitely attracted me here. But I'll tell you which one, Cammie, that really got me was when I had my best year back in 2020 as a broker, making 100% commission, knowing how hard I worked, knowing, what went into that. I took those numbers that I made in 2020 and I plugged them into like a spreadsheet that shows how much money that I would make at eXp doing the same amount of deals, the same amount of volume, making the same amount of commission. And I was blown away that I was leaving so much money on the table, because at eXp, when you're a producer, and you sell, I'd say once you hit your cap, which is 16,000, it's not the cheapest cap, but it's not the most expensive. And then after you cap, you sell an additional 20 homes, you become what we call an icon agent, right? An icon agent. We got Joni on here. Joni's an icon. Ryan's an icon. I'm an icon. And many people within our organization are icons. That is where eXp turns around and says, because you hit this rank, we're going to give you 8,000 of your $16,000 cap immediately back in the form of stock. And it's deposited into your stock account within that next 30 days. And then from there, you have the ability to earn the additional $8,000 in stock from your cap by going to 2 events, which you get. We have eXp shareholders and eXp Con, which are 2 conferences. So each conference you go to, they give you $2,000 in the form of stock. So you can earn an additional $4,000 for going to 2 events. And then To earn your additional 4, you can become a certified mentor. So for those of you guys that like helping people, this is great. You can become a certified mentor, help new agents that come into the company within your local area sell their first few homes. You're not actually prospecting for them. You're not going out to get the deal for them, but you're kind of holding their hand along the way. You can earn an additional $4,000 for being a mentor and get paid for the first 3 transactions that they sell. That's how you can earn 16,000. Or you can be a speaker trainer like I am, where you pick a topic within the real estate industry that you're, known for. It could be anything: flipping homes, Airbnb, listings, buyers, customer service, and you train a certain amount of classes or you host a certain amount of events. You can earn an additional $4,000. So you can actually earn your entire $16,000 back in the form of stock. That what I looked at is I couldn't do that owning my own brokerage. And so the great thing about stock is at some point it's going to go up, right? Sometimes it goes down, we know that. But if you look at the trend of just history, it's going up, right? One way or another, it's going to go up. And so when I saw how much money I was leaving on the table by doing, real estate under my own umbrella, I'm like, that's a no-brainer. And just this morning, eXp is not only publicly traded on the NASDAQ, we just joined the S&P small 600, and the stock shot up today. And I just checked my stock, and my stock is now over 6 figures within 2.5 years. And to me, like, I didn't get that anywhere else I was. And real estate agents don't have retirement parties, right? We don't get a retirement when it's all said and done. So the stock to me actually excited me more than the rev share, because I was getting compensated or awarded for doing what I was already doing. Now the rev share is just an additional bonus. And I love networking with people. I love doing business with people like Ryan, Allie, Joni. And when I first got into eXp and I began to attract certain people into my organization and build relationships with certain people, my number one favorite thing about being at eXp is being able to do business with people like you, Cammie, who I would never have known if it wasn't for Ryan, right? And because I have the ability to lock arms with Ryan, I'm able to lock arms with you. And we're able to build something. I look at eXp as a team of all-stars, right? Where you bring great people that would normally not be on your team. Like I would have never have joined Ryan's brokerage. Ryan would have never joined my brokerage. But because we can link arms and lock arms together, we can do something so much bigger here at eXp. And that's the power of RevShare. You're on mute, Cammie.
You're on mute.
Well, that keeps my dogs from bothering people. No, there's so much I want to say. There's just so much gold here. And every time I hear you guys talk, I pick up something different. That's for sure. And it's funny because I've got some friends on here and they're shaking their head as you guys are talking. So clearly they can relate to what you're saying. And Ryan, I'll never forget, and you don't even know this because it's not like I was like, my biggest complaint in this industry, and if your team doesn't function this way, I can't align myself with you. We were on a call with one of my contacts, and they were talking about a frustration somebody had in eXp. And Ryan wasn't like, oh, tell her to wait out so many months, and then she can join our team and we'll show her how it's done. No, he was like, oh, I own stock in this company. So you let her know if she would like to chat with me. I'd love to just help her with whatever she's walking through, because it probably was a misunderstanding is really what I was hearing. And he's like, I just want to make sure everybody in eXp is killing it because we all do better. We all have stock in the company. And I thought, boom, this industry sometimes can get a negative twist to it just because of that competitive nature. And I just want to say, I don't know if you guys know this, but my start in direct sales, in being an entrepreneur, came directly from Rich Dad Poor Dad. It came directly from reading that book, and that's all about real estate. And early on in my direct sales career, I would recruit agents because there was truly no residual model. There was all these pain points, like you talked about, Ryan, where there just was no solutions, where eXp's cracked the code on those things. And I would just say, especially for those of you listening to this live today, those of you hitting the recording, reach out if you have questions or something wasn't clear, because I truly believe direct sales is the best business model in the world today. I think there's a lot of things changing in our world, but nothing will take away from that personal contact of using a product, selling a product, using a service from somebody you know, like, and trust. And there's nothing that's changing in the world of real estate. It's just getting more aggressive and more exciting, and land is not like just growing anywhere, right?
Let me add to that, Cami. So agree with what you're saying, but you're a real estate agent. You don't want to do direct sales. You don't want to recruit any agents, whatever, right? You're going to be a real estate agent anyways the next 10, 20 years. Why not do it at a brokerage where you earn stock and you might end up, bringing an agent over there and earn a little bit, because just economy of scale and longevity, right? Like, hey, I'm going to do this 10 years anyways. I might as well just do it at this place and I will have a pretty good retirement. What Justin just said, I mean, you guys, I was the owner of my own brokerage, probably a little bit of pride. I know there is people who are like, man, I want to be like Ryan. I want to own a brokerage. Yeah. Come talk to me behind closed doors. I'll give you the brokerage, because that means you need to cover the 50 grand a month. That means when sales are down, you have to go sell a bunch of houses and your split is zero, right? As an equity stakeholder at eXp, I made 50 grand in the last 2 days. The stock went up like $4. Now, not all that stock was free and given to me. I purchased a lot of it, but I purchased a lot of it actually at a discount because of a program they have. But like, me owning some stock in a huge real estate brokerage has been more beneficial than me owning my own brokerage. So I'm just going to put that out there. So if you're going to just sell real estate, go to a brokerage that's good. It's a great brokerage. The splits are fair. It's middle of the road, right? It's not the cheapest. It's not the most expensive, but you get some good technology. You get good education. You can have discounted healthcare if you want it. You can start to build a retirement from stock. You can earn a little bit for bringing a friend there. Like, there's all these reasons. You might as well work somewhere like that the next 10, 15, 20 years in your career versus staying where you are, where you just pay money and you do get some of those things, but not all of those. And then when you're done, you're done. Like Justin said, they don't throw a party for you when you retire. If anything, you're just gone. Maybe they'll have a little happy hour going away, but that's it. You're done. When I'm done here, I'm going to have probably like a couple $1,000,000 in retirement from stock. I will probably, because I'm working on this, still have agents working there that I brought in. So I'll still have a monthly check coming in and I don't have to sell real estate anymore. And I can pass that on to one of my kids. Yeah. So anyway, sorry, rant over.
No, and I want you to add on to that, because I hear so clearly. I've been doing this just a lot. I love that you keep kind of helping me because I'm new to real estate, but help me understand the couple things I've gotten a couple times is, yeah, but I'm going to stay here because I make 100% of my commission. Now, in my mind, I realize there's no way you're making 100% of your commission. If you are, you're paying it somewhere else.
Nothing in life is 100%. If your split is 100, then you're paying a monthly fee or a transaction fee or a something. Some people have really good splits, still pay their broker, and they're like, oh, my splits are the lowest, but you charge a processing fee, a broker fee, an admin fee, whatever you want to call it, on every single deal to your clients, and your broker gets it. At eXp, they don't require that, so you can still charge one and you get it. That's actually another way to earn revenue that we didn't even talk about, right? So, but you get what you pay for. And that's what, this isn't the cheapest. It's not the most expensive. It's middle of the road. If you want to go to a 100% route or a cheap brokerage, good, but that's what you're going to get is cheap. You won't get any extra services.
So,
nothing is free in life. When you pay for things, you usually get something. And I felt like this was a balance, middle of the road, paying just enough to get enough.
So speak to me. So on top of that, add to this for me, because I've heard, oh, you're new. So some people have said to me, you're new, you need to partner with people that can help you with leads. But that's not why I chose this. Like, I'm going to go out and grind it. Like, that's why I love Justin's story of 100 houses in his first year. Clearly that wasn't handed to him. And I'm finding that no agency helps with that, let alone training. So talk to me about that for a minute. Cause I have people that are like, no, I'm just going to do my own thing.
Yep.
You need the support. I don't.
5 to 10% of the agents do 95% of the business. That's a fact. It probably would normally follow the Pareto principle of 80-20, but in real estate, it's more 90-10. And that's because those agents work hard and do their thing. So it doesn't matter if you're at Remax, Keller Williams, XYZ, your own eXp. If you don't do the work, you're not going to get anything. That's why I'm not telling people like, hey, come join eXp. You're just going to be an awesome realtor topping, you're telling me millions of dollars. No, you still have to work, right? Like, and if you don't come and I want to be at 100% brokerage, you still have to work. So here though, you can work and get some extra support benefits and earn some extra for your work. There's no magical lead source out there. Mine is all relational, but I'm purposefully networking and I get a lot of leads. Justin's is hard work. He calls and he prospects and he lead generates, right? There's you being so new, Cami, there is 10 different things a day you could sign up for where they're promising you leads, guarantee you leads. Why wouldn't we all be doing that then, right? There's no magical source except working hard, talking to people and getting people to sell their houses through you. So I hope I'm getting that through. That answers you. It's hard work and no brokerage is offering leads.
I can't imagine why people wouldn't want to be a part of this like vehicle. Justin, part of why I invited people today, I was like, come learn from my mentor who sold 100 houses in his first year. And so I am right with Ryan. I'm a relationship person. I am always making new friends because I know that's going to like serve me in the future. And I know you are too, but you also started with a zero database and somehow still sold 100 homes in your first year. Can you tell us anything about that? Because I promised to give them a little bit of that.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, if you're in real estate right now, and I was just sharing and teaching a class yesterday, because I'm also a coach with Clever U, which is a coaching company where we teach and train real estate agents all over North America how to sell homes, right? And I was sharing this, that if right now in your business, because the market has shifted and changed since the last couple of years, you know, interest rates have gone up. We know there's a lack of inventory. That right now, if you're not making the amount of money you want to make, if you're not doing the amount of business that you want to do, and you're just not really happy with where your pipeline is, the answer is real simple. You're just not talking to enough people about real estate on a daily basis. And so what I was taught from day one is have 25, 35, 45 conversations with people every single day about real estate. And oh, by the way, the majority of them are going to tell you no, but you're only looking for 1 or 2 people per day to say yes. And if you do that every day, 5 days a week, 4 weeks a month, 12 months a year, you will have more business than you can handle. The problem is most real estate agents wait for business to come to them. They look for the shiny objects to get to the deal the fastest way possible. And everything comes down to prospecting. And in prospecting, most people think, well, I don't want to pick up the phone. But the real definition of prospecting is being the first step in the sales process is having a conversation with somebody. And the goal of having the conversation is to hopefully put them into your database and convert them into a client at some point. And so what I learned from day one is I don't have a database. I don't have a big sphere. I'm on commission sales. The only way I'm going to really make it is by getting rejected, right? Putting myself in a position to pick up the phone and call expireds and for sale by owners every day, overcome objections, be told no, but sooner or later somebody says yes. And so in my first year, that's how I sold 100 homes. And what's really awesome is this. We've got a guy that's in Ryan's organization who at our last team meeting said, I'm that guy who's struggling and I'm not ashamed to say it, and I need help. And so this agent specifically reached out to me and said, will you help me? I said, absolutely. Because one of the things or benefits I'll say about being a part of Cammie's organization, Ryan's organization, my organization, is you get direct access to me. And the very stuff that I do on a daily basis to sell 100 homes a year, the very stuff that I teach agents all over North America that pay me, you get access for free. I'm teaching you the same training, the same coaching, the same how to pick up the phone, how to go on listing appointments, how to meet with buyers, and I'm not holding anything back. these are the exact things that my team and I use here in the Detroit area to sell the homes that we do. And so I believe that with which is what we've talked about this whole time, is we want to help you sell a lot of homes. We want to help you make a lot of money, because we know that this model doesn't work unless we're selling homes. And the last time I checked, Cammie, you can only go so long without a paycheck until you got to go do something else. And there's no reason why anybody in real estate can't succeed and can't sell homes. You just got to be willing to get out in front of people and have those conversations.
It's funny you say that, Justin, because clearly being in this industry for almost 20 years, the number one thing I get all the time is how hard it is. And I said, well, they don't call it networking for nothing. It's not net wishing.
Yep.
It's networking. And so
Yep.
I didn't join real estate thinking this was all just going to fall in my lap. I joined real estate because I love this product and I absolutely love this business model. And now you've got the two of them that have come and they've met each other. And so Justin was not allowed to give you all his secrets, because when you join our team, you get those secrets. When you join our team, you get Ryan's incredible experience in brokerage and building teams and building relationships. And you're going to 100% get honesty every step of the way. And that's probably what I admire most. So real quick, because we're going to close this up. I want you guys to think of one last thing that has not been said that you believe that people on this call need to hear. And mind you, I'm going to be sending this call to hundreds of people when this call is over, because number one, I don't have the time in the day to get back to the number of messages I get that are like, wait, what happened? Why did you switch career tracks? But number two, I really want anybody and everybody who's ready to make a change, do something that their work ethic writes their paycheck. I mean, that's, Justin, what you did with 100 homes in a year is your work ethic wrote your paycheck. You were doing what most people were not willing to do so you could have what only people wish that they could have. And obviously, Ryan, you've done that over time. You say all the time, this is a long game. This isn't an overnight thing. But at the same time, y'all, 100 homes in a year surely dramatically changes the game from your budget standpoint. So I want to give you guys both a chance to say one last thing as we close up the call today. So who wants to go first?
So my closing thing would be, you have to remember in real estate that you work for yourself. You're a 1099 independent contractor. You're a business owner. You need to think like that. The loyalty that agents have to their brokerage blows my mind. They're willing to pay them so much money. Well, but they're nice to me and they're my friend and they invited me to the cottage or whatever. Great, but it's business, okay? And so I just did the math right now. I became an Icon agent last year. I didn't do all the extra stuff Justin said, so I only got half my cap back in stock, $8,000. And the stock was $10 a share. So I got I got $8,000 worth of stock at $10 a share was 800 shares. Today, the stock is at $19.89. So my 800 shares is worth $15,912. I made $7,912. It went up, but I got the total because those were free. So I made $15,900 because I closed a bunch of deals, which I was going to do anyways. I have not seen a brokerage out there give their 1099 contractors $15,000 a year at all. You work for yourself, make a good business decision. I mean, I did it, right? Like, you can still be friends with your broker. You can still, support them. You can still do good business with them, but you don't need to work with them, give them all your money and hold yourself or your future family or whatever back from an opportunity like this. Like, I just did this math because I was interested in talking. I'm even more like excited that I moved over to eXp, and I'm pissed I didn't do it earlier. I've been doing this for 22 years. Like, if I would have did it earlier, I wouldn't be selling houses right now. I'd be chilling on a beach somewhere, right? So that is a real story, real math. I closed a bunch of homes, which I was going to do anyways, and I did it at eXp, and I just made an extra 16 grand, basically. That's all I gotta say.
I say it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. And what I would add to what Ryan just said is, if you love your broker, come to eXp and then invite your broker to come too. Because you heard what Ryan said about the headaches that brokers have. Trust me, especially independent brokers, most of them are not making money. And if they are, they don't have a life. They're super stressed. They're super frustrated. And we're seeing independent brokerages come into eXp like never before. But here's what I'll close with. I want you to think about where you are in your life right now. Okay. Where you are, how much money you're making, the people you're surrounding yourself with. Is where you are right now and the people that you're surrounding yourself with right now going to take you to where you ultimately want to be? Think about the life that you ultimately want to have, the amount of money you want to have, the people that are around you. Is where you are right now going to get you there? Or are you just where you are right now because you're comfortable? Proximity is power, and who you surround yourself with ultimately determines where you're going. And if you're not happy with where you are and who you associate yourself with and where your business is, why not give eXp a chance? Why not step out of the boat and step out in faith? Because the worst case scenario is if you come over here and you don't like it, you can always go back to what you're doing and where you are. But what I've found is this: when you surround yourself with winners and you surround yourself with successful people, you're going to be a winner and you're going to be successful. If the guys that brought me into eXp make over 300 grand a month in rev share. That's something that inspires me and encourages me to want to build something for my family and my legacy. And like Ryan said, this is business. This, when you have an opportunity to be able to step into something that can propel you forward, your vision forward, your dreams forward, what's holding you back, right? And who you surround yourself with matters, and where you plant your flag matters. Come plant it with us, and I promise you won't be disappointed.
I like that. That's your guarantee for sure.
Signed, sealed, and delivered.
And here's what I can promise you. I don't care how much fun, what cottages you're traveling to, what you say they're doing for you. You don't know if you don't explore it. And why wouldn't you at least listen? Because what I found is I can't unhear what I've heard. And so my pass is simply, we're going to have a whole lot of fun. We are going to enjoy some incredible freedom, new to me, liability freedom, but we're also going to have time freedom, financial freedom, freedom of choice of who we're hanging out with and who we're doing business with. But this is a family. I believe that with every fiber of my being. I opened it at the beginning and I just said, it's like the two big brothers I never had, except for they're both younger than me. So I guess I'm the big sister in the family. But you're joining a family that this isn't something that they're doing for themselves. They're here for you. Do you guys know, never in my life, after 3 days of not texting someone, they're texting me and saying, hey, are you okay? Everything going on all right with you? I've never experienced that in my life, even from my own family. So I just want you to know this is the right place, right time. And once you see what's going on here, especially if you're already in real estate, but for those of you that are at a crossroads in your life and maybe you're looking at a new career option, I can promise you this is a great place to plant your flag and you will not regret it. So Ryan, Justin, thank you so much for giving me your time. I don't take it lightly. We're going to make sure this gets in the hands of a lot of very important people. And I'm just excited. I'm so excited for what's to come. And I feel like we should do a huddle and be like, go team. But
yeah. Hey, I want to share information and help people all over. I do. That's where I'm at in my life. That's what God's calling me to do. So if anyone jumps on and joins up with us, I'm excited to meet you and have you as a business partner, because I'd love to share whatever I can with you. So that's an invitation.
And he has made good on that every time I've asked for anything. So, all right, you guys have a good day. We'll get this recording out. Ryan, Justin, thank you.
Thanks.
See ya.